In this video, we will be analyzing the poem Fall by Edward Hirsch. This video is presented by Jasmine Martinez and Molly McAuliffe. Fall by Edward Hirsch. Fall, falling, fallen. That's the way the season changes its tense in the long-haired maples that dot the road. The veiny hand-shaped leaves redden on their branches in a fiery competition with the final remaining cardinals, and then begin to sidle and float through the air, at last settling into colorful layers carpeting the ground. At twilight, the light too is layered in the trees in a season of odd dusky congruences, a scarlet tanager and the odor of burning leaves, a golden retriever loping down the center of a wide street and the sun settling behind smoke-filled trees in the distance, a gap opening up in the treetops and a bruised cloud blamelessly filling the space with purples. Everything changes and moves in the split second between summer's sprawling past and winter's hard revision. One moment pulling out of the station according to schedule, another moment arriving on the next platform. It happens almost like clockwork. The leaves drift away from their branches and gather slowly at our feet, sliding over our ankles, and the season begins moving around us even as its colorful weather moves us, even as it pulls us into its dusty toilet pockets. And every year there is a brief, startling moment when we pause in the middle of a long walk home and suddenly feel something invisible and weightless touching our shoulders. Sweeping down from the air, it is the autumn's wind pressing against our bodies. It is the changing light of fall falling on us. Now we will discuss the meter used in the poem. So we'll be discussing and analyzing the first 4 lines of Edward Hirsch's poem. So we have fall, falling, fallen. That's the way the season changes its tense in the long-haired maples that dot the road. The veiny hand-shaped leaves redden on their branches in a fiery competition. So in these 4 lines, we identified the different forms of meter that could be used. So we have anapest, dactyl, iambium, and troche, which what they do is they have different specific structures of stressed and unstressed syllables. So you have the examples there next to the different types. Rhythm and rhyme. So what are rhythm and rhyme in poetry? Rhythm and rhyme are usually indicated at the end of the line in poetry. Words with repeated or similar sounds make up the rhyme aspect, which then creates the rhythm of the poem. Rhythm and rhyme are simply patterns that make up a poem. They create a specific form of the poem that gives the reader a structure to follow while reading. For the rhythm and rhyme in the poem Fall. So Fall is a free verse poem. It doesn't follow a specific structure or rhyming pattern. Instead, the poem has a more of a conversational form of expression. Edward Hirsch's decision to not incorporate a fixed form and rhyme scheme adds to his topic and overall expression of fall. Just like leaves in fall flutter spontaneously to the ground, the poem's phrases are able to ebb and flow freely. Although rhythm and rhyme are beneficial forms of expression, it would only take away from the tone and attitudes expressed about fall in Edward Hirsch's poem. So it would keep the tone and the topic contained, and that's not what Edward wanted when he wrote this poem. He wanted it to be free, like fall is, where it falls at will and does what it does when it wants to. So the author's tone. The tone Edward Hirsch uses to convey the poem is sincere. It is sincere because it is accepting of all that comes with the change of fall, where he states, in the long-haired maples that dot the road, he describes the maple trees in a genuine manner. The lack of rhythm and rhyme structures creates a very open and accepting tone. The tone, like the structure, is warm and gentle, without limits. The attitude and claims about the topic. Edward Hirsch's tone reveals that he is very fond of fall and change. By relating the theme of change to the season of fall, a very accepting attitude towards the change is portrayed. To him, change is inevitable, just like the season fall. It always comes and always goes, just like time and change. Hirsch's expression of fall and change is very gentle and accepting, just like the tone, structure, attitudes, and topic of the poem. Thank you for watching. We hope this was helpful.